Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. Thank you so much for your interest and being part of this training and teachers' personal development. Well, we have now the format of a teacher's interview. Now we have the opportunity to interact with other teachers and to learn from their personal story, from their experience, and other things that they will share with us. So feel free and comfortable to receive the information and ask questions. Even if you can't speak, you can type your questions and I can read for you. Okay? So the idea is to interact so that this interview is not only that one person speak and the other person responds. So everybody can interact. Okay, so that's the idea of the teachers interview. Thank you so much for all the teachers around Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, and other countries that they follow us. Okay, Mr. Mark Maldonado, thank you so much for being here. How are you, sir?
So far, so good. Never been better.
Yeah, right to hear that, my friend. I know. I always see you working. Innovation is a key. You know that I constantly observe that we are you are one of the teachers that try to learn different things. Innovation is a key. So, what do you think about innovation in the English language for the English language trainers? What role do you think innovation plays in the language teachers or instructors?
Innovation is so key so that everyone can take up this new trend of innovation. When it comes to using, for example, AI, which some people know and some people don't even know, some people don't even want to embark on. I think when it comes to innovation, we have to focus on how we or how can I improve or how can I ameliorate my student skills, but not only their skills, but also my own. For example, when it comes to using AI, people feel sometimes afraid or uncomfortable or they are not cut out for that. But I think they can use and they can begin with the use of AI. For example, if they use artificial intelligence in the classroom, that will help him to be the teacher who breaks down the barriers, who brings something new to the class. Because most of students are bored or they are fed up with English classes because they think they are always being taught the verb to be or oh no, phrasal verbs again. Oh no, grammar again. Oh no, speaking again, or how to improve your fluency. If they see that we bring something new to the classroom, they're gonna see that we are innovator teachers, and that's what we want to evoke. We don't want to be teachers who maybe are always old-fashioned or out of date, who don't know what to do, or maybe we are reluctant when it comes to bringing something new to the classroom. We want to follow only what the book says, only what I have in my teaching plan. However, we can innovate and we can improve our teaching plans by including methodologies which are trendy nowadays or which are, for example, part of AI or part of a new way of communicating. For example, nowadays, you can translate directly from your phone. You can use your phone or you can use a device that is a watch. You can buy a watch which is only $35 and you can use that watch for improving your communication, improving your translation, improving your language acquisition, and so forth. You can even get more friends or get in the crowd of people from abroad or get in the crowd of people who may teach you something new. That's why I always ask my students, do you know something new about technology? Do you think we can change something in the classroom? They always have ideas. And I try to implement their ideas so much so if they help us to acquire the language or if it helps in the classroom. because my my main focus is teaching my students how to acquire languages. That's why I have taught English, French, German, Chinese, and other languages, especially because I think the only way to improve communication is by learning other languages, but not only by learning them or acquiring them, but also by communicating yourself with other people, sharing ideas, and also helping them to achieve their goals. Because sometimes most of students don't study English directly. They study English as a second language. So it means they are studying a career, and apart from the career, they have to acquire English as a second language, or maybe French, or maybe Chinese. And it's kind of burdensome because it's kind of difficult for them because they don't know how to find a path towards learning a language. However, I always show them that they can improve their language acquisition by implementing innovative tools or innovative platforms or innovative gadgets. For example, I always send them links,
Mhm.
videos, whatever is about education or whatever is about language acquisition or maybe academics, not only language, but also how they can use English as a tool that can help them improve their academics when it comes to grades, for example, or for instance, when they also have to improve their grades because some students don't know how to learn mathematics or chemistry or biology. However, in English, we find everything easier than in Spanish. So that's why I show them, look, in English, everything is colorful. In Spanish, everything is in black and white. That's why you're not used to reading. The first problem that I find in the classroom is reading comprehension. The second one is listening comprehension. Those two barriers block students from achieving their potential or maybe going to a university abroad or traveling overseas or communicating themselves with other people who are from other countries. That's why I always teach my students you can learn English. English is the first step to encountering something new in your life. All of us who have learned English or who have devoted a lot of time in learning English in paid courses at the university, for seminars, and for many other occasions where we encounter people who speak English, we have tasted the value of, okay, I'm learning English, I'm using it, I am earning money from it, and I am also enjoying my life because only the ones who have learned English have traveled overseas more often than other people. Even if you study only engineering, you will not have the chance to travel abroad because you don't speak English. That's it. If you speak English, even if you don't speak it fluently enough like a native, you get to travel abroad. People pay for you to travel abroad. So that is one key element that people can use for themselves to enjoy their lives. Only then you can enjoy your life because if you approach somebody, you don't speak French and I don't speak French, but they can speak English a little bit. Me too. So we can just communicate, try to communicate each other, even if it's not fluent enough, you get some communication. And that is the only thing you need. You don't need to speak perfect English, but you need to only communicate yourself, get to the place you want to be. For example, the first time I went to China, I saw a long queue of people queuing up just for getting a taxi. And I arrived, I remember it was 4 p.m. and I was devastated because it's 26 hours long. So I traveled to China for 26 hours long, nonstop. And then I said, oh no, I feel not kind of tired. And I saw people queuing up so quickly, one after the other, and the queue was getting longer and longer and longer and longer and longer. There were 400 people in front of me, and then 800 people in front of me. And I was trying to queue up, but I couldn't. And I said, no, no, I won't queue up. I will be like an Ecuadorian. I walked past them and I went to the counter and asked the lady. I talked to them in Chinese because I speak Chinese. So I said, if I speak English, they will say queue up. But
Mhm.
if I speak Chinese, they will say, okay, I'm gonna get you a taxi. So I talked to them and approached them and said, hello, I came back to China because I'm not Chinese too. I need a taxi, please. Can you please bring me a taxi? And they say, oh, you speak Chinese like us. Of course, I'm Chinese. And they say, yeah, you can speak Chinese like us, but you're not Chinese. I say, no, I'm just joking. And they say, wow, you can joke in Chinese. That's amazing. And I said, yeah, just for the sake of getting a taxi, that would be amazing. And they say, don't worry, don't queue up. Just wait for us, and within 2 minutes, we will get you a taxi because you can speak Chinese, and we gotta get a taxi for them to speak it, to speak in Spanish and French and Russian and other languages. But it's so hard to find someone who can speak all those languages. But if you speak Chinese, you will go directly to your hotel. And I only waited for 2 minutes, not that long queue. That would have been like 10 hours. So I took my taxi and I said, wow, this is an advantage. Learning
Mhm.
languages is not burdensome, it's an advantage. And if you implement innovation in the classroom and you show your students how beneficial it is to learn languages, it's not something hard. But you won't be doing that by teaching them grammar, proper grammatical structures, and syntax error and error correction and all that stuff. But you have to use some kind of innovation because your students get really bored in the classroom, and you have to take them away from the boredom and then make them enjoy the language.
Yes, my friend, thank you so much for sharing this cultural experience because you mentioned what happened to you when you went to China, no? And now in this moment, I'm not sure if the group of teachers that you're here, one of you would like to mention to ask something to Mr. Maldonado. We are talking about um, teacher's experience, but now in this moment we're focusing on language travel and exchange. No, so he explained us the benefits of traveling and how can we use the language, in different places. No, not necessarily you need to get a fluent level in order to communicate effectively, but the interaction that you have with other people will benefit you to achieve some specific goals, no? Um, so, uh, my friend, when you mentioned that your experience, what happened to you in China, no? In the when you asked a ride for a taxi, okay, I was impressed because that in China, not many people are brave to use language to communicate. No, so most people are more in the zone of comfort. No, so in China, well,
Mhm.
you can use English, but in with the in the forms or in the language or the target that you need to use. No, have you traveled to another country, Mark, apart from China, and have you experienced a similar different cultural, I don't know, shocking cultural experience or things like that?
Culture shock.
Culture shock, yes.
Well, even though we cannot go to North Korea, I went to North Korea, South Korea, Amsterdam, Colombia, Peru, and I've been to the States. Well, I went to the States when I was about 3 years of age. I stayed there for 1 year and then I came back here. That's how I started learning English. And the second thing is when I was about 28, yeah, when I was about 28, I went to Amsterdam. And then I went to China, and then I went to South Korea, and from South Korea, I went to North Korea. Even though Ecuadorians cannot enter North Korea, I just I maneuver myself to enter by speaking only Chinese. no English, nor esta. South Korean is a different language from North Korean. So I didn't use South Korean language. I only use Chinese because China and North Korea have good communication. So we went directly to North Korea and we had a nice time eating sushi and other things that we could eat over there. And also, I think it's beneficial if you can speak not only English, but also other languages. And for learning other languages, you need innovation or innovative tools. For example, I always download apps on my phone so I can learn Chinese, English, and Dutch because I learned Dutch, Russian, Korean, and I also watch lots of videos for children. Why do I watch videos for children? Because that's the starting point.
Mhm.
If you listen to children's, then you get some kind of plasticity. You know, we are older people. We are not seniors, but anyway, we're older people. So when you get to maturity, you lose plasticity. Maybe you have 1% of plasticity, but no more than that. In order to get this plasticity from children, you have to listen to children's voices. So if you listen to songs for children or lyrics for children or lots of videos that I always use. I use it for nowadays I use it for my baby because I have a baby. She's a 1-year-old girl. And I have always started by watching and listening to songs for children because only then you get to rhyme, you get to sing songs for children, and that's the basic of language. Apart from that, I always use something which is innovative because that was your first question. How to use something innovative in the classroom? So I use it for myself first and I see if it works. If it doesn't work, I don't continue using it. But if it works and I see that it works, miracles in me, and I can speak English like a native, or I can speak Russian like a native, or if I get to speak Dutch like a native and I have the right accent, or I can improve my grammatical structures or syntax error correction, then I use it in the classroom. Only if it works. And I try to check and I try to always, we have some tables to check if something works or not, and I write it down. So I write, on Monday, I use this tool, but it seems like it didn't work. I try to use it twice. So I use it for the first time, and I see if it works or not. If it doesn't work for the second or third time, I'll stop using it. So I start using another one. So I use different techniques, different kinds of methodologies. I'm always watching videos for children, for teachers, because I also watch videos for teachers for adult teaching, young teaching, teenagers teaching, and lots of sets of methodology. For example, let me share with you something that I always do.
Yes, of
Can I
course.
share something?
Okay, give me 1 minute, please. I'm going to.
Allow me to share it so I can show you.
Okay, there we go. You can.
This is a free web page that any one of you can use. Okay? Let me show you first the source. This is, MCQs. This is the first one. Okay. My screen is paused. Hold on. Okay. So this is something that I downloaded from the Owl Excelsior College, and you can download this for free. Okay. So these are questions that you can use in the classroom. to clarify, to get to know if your students are learning or not, to teach him how to improve their reading. First and foremost, I started preparing my own reading because my reading was kind of messy. So I was lacking the ability to read well, and I didn't understand reading. So I started reading, but I didn't comprehend everything. When I took the first time I started taking tests in English, I couldn't pass a test because of my reading. My reading was faulty. So I worked on my reading and I started getting information about reading comprehension, how to attain a better level of English, and how to acquire a better fluency level of English when it comes to reading. So I surveyed a little bit and I found out that we can use this webpage. So if you go to Excelsior College Reading Comprehension, then you can find, or the OWL Excelsior College Reading Comprehension, you can find all of this and you can download it for free.
I
So you
have a
can,
question. I'm
uh-huh.
sorry to interrupt you. I
Okay,
have a
Mr.
case that
Renato.
I found a nice books on the web. My question is, if I already download those books, but if I print to give to my students, uh, so the question is, I'm gonna get in trouble with the author rights,
With copyright. No,
copyright.
you don't get problems with the copyright. Only the only get of getting problem with copyright and the only thing that can get you to jail is if you sell it.
Ah,
If
okay, nice.
if you
Thank
start
you for the information.
if you start copying and printing out books and then charging for money, getting paid for the printing, then you get in trouble
So
because
I can do like, for example, I pass the book to the students and they can print by themselves and I'm gonna have any kind of problem, right?
no, you won't have any problem because they're printing it. And
Okay,
nowadays,
thanks
you
a
can
lot.
download it for free from online. That's why this is called CC, common. So this is common copyright or common union of sharing knowledge. This is free online. You can download it for free. You can send the links to your students so they can download it for free. So you don't have to get in trouble. The only way to get into trouble by this is when you're selling it. You don't need to
All
sell it
right.
because this is
Okay,
free.
thanks a lot.
So you can ask your students after reading these questions. So some questions are before reading, during the reading, and after reading. You have to get a handle of it. If you don't get a handle of it, you get into trouble because your students will not get what kind of methodology you're using. They get confused and they don't know why you're asking so many questions. You have to know when to ask those questions and how to formulate those questions. They shouldn't be so hard to understand nor so hard to answer. Okay? So you can use these questions in the classroom. You see, the first one is, sorry, the first one is how to do survey, how to carry a survey. The answer is look over the material, title, preview, headings, visuals, bolded words, summary. So this is a way to guide your students on how to improve their reading comprehension. Why do I always forget what to say? Or why do you always look for the right word when there is no right word? Because in English, you have to sometimes memorize a long list of vocabulary. The other thing is you have to be able to remember some skills to learn languages, to speak languages, to write properly. For example, we have two tones when it comes to writing, formal and informal. Informal English is for speaking English. Rather, formal English is to write down. Sometimes in American English, we use informal English, but in European or British English, we use highly formal language. So you have to know which is the tone of the writer and what kind of questions should I ask when it comes to reading. Also, in order to guide your students on how to learn reading, you have to have this this chart. So you can use this chart to show them how to improve their reading. The other is the strategies. Let me show you one of the strategies. This is one of the strategies, okay? So
Mm,
the KWL stands for what I know, what I want to know, and what I learned, what I extracted from the reading. What I know is the pre-reading. However, what I want to know is the while reading, during reading. And the after reading is what I learned, what I extracted from the reading or from the listening. For example, now we're making a video, we're trying to answer questions and all of that stuff. So while you're listening, you have to ask yourself questions. Why am I listening to this teacher? What is the purpose of listening to him? Why do we have to attend classes on Sunday? Why do we have to attend seminars or to these interview videos? What is the purpose of listening to him? What kind of experience does he have? And how can he help me improve my own reading style or my language acquisition or my teaching when it comes to the classroom? There's a long set, a vast array of things that I have to think about or to consider. For example, one is the age of my students, the experiences of my students, the psychological problems they have or they face at home, at school, at work. For example, I have students who are over 40, they are 50, 60, 70, even 80. Mhm. I have students who are only 3, only 6, only 17, only 32, only 40. So you cannot teach him all in the same way. You cannot use the same method. I cannot ask a 3-year-old what I know. What do you know? Nothing, not yet. So I cannot use this chart with lower grades, only with people who already study at the university or maybe from high school. So you have to know what I know is what do I know about my students? Okay, I know they have a problem. Let's try to help them out. That's one. Oh, I know my student is highly skilled in this thing, or he is highly gifted. He can draw really well. He can paint things in a very nice way. Let us use this skill in the classroom and let us also use AI in the classroom. Let me use Canva. For example, sometimes I use Canva, but there are a lot of apps or applications that I can use in the classroom apart from Canva. So there is Canva. I can use YouTube. I can use Google, or I can use maybe another AI tool like ChatGPT is one of them, but there are like 96 other ChatGPT tools that you can use in the classroom. Let's use this one. Maybe let's try this one or this other one. Next time I will try your let's say you have a student or maybe one who is a teacher and he has a watch which can record things. You can record other people if they're talking or doing things. Let us use that watch and let us record the class. I always record my classes because I think it's highly valuable if you take those memories for you and you can post them online and you can show reality in the classroom, how my students can learn languages or how they can use the language in the classroom so that when it comes to using in real life, they also are able to use it. The other one is, let me show you the SQ3R. This is the SQ3R. So the SQ3R is questions that I might use during my reading or researching. Whenever you do research, you have to ask these questions one after the other. If you skip one of the questions, you won't be able to write a proper research paper. The other is questioning. When it comes to questioning, you should be able to say anything, okay? But you have to use the right questions. Reasons for using questioning before, during, and after reading. To be clear about what you know or want to know. To clarify the meaning of what you're reading. To speculate about the text. You can also speculate, it's no sin. So you can speculate about the reading, about the listening, about the audio, about the video, about a book. To focus on a particular part or idea in the text, or in the video, in the book, or from the article. To locate an answer to specific questions or to reflect on what you read. Okay, so that's the purpose of innovation. If you innovate in the classroom, your students won't get bored. You already know English, you know how to use it. Now let's implement those innovative tools. So the innovating tools will help you improve your reading. Also, you will catch the attention of your students. Sometimes we lose track of it and we say, no, no, if you get a good grade, it's okay. I will just grade you and that's it. No, no. You have to find a way that you catch the attention of your students, each and every one of them, so they listen to you. Even if you see them that they are using the phone too much, maybe you can use the phone or all the phones turned on to send them messages. I always do this because I learned this 20 years ago. I taught one of my students, she was studying as accounting. She wanted to become an accountant. She was about 42, and I didn't know how to help her. She had 7 companies. She's running 7 companies. Why she's on the phone? One reason is because she has 7 companies. So she was always on the phone. And I say, oh no, she's always interrupting me in my classes because she's on the phone. Hello, yeah, you can do it on your own, And she was always on the phone. So I said, well, let's find ways or innovative ways so that she can learn English even though she's interrupted by other people. So I found some interesting games online. So I sent her some games on the phone. So I said, let's use the phone during the class and I will send you some activities that you can use on your phone. So you're gonna do those activities on your phone and you're gonna continue learning English, okay? She said, okay. She agreed. Then I started sending her one activity after the other. I asked her, did you finish doing your activity? Yes, teacher, this is so interesting. And she learned English. You know what? Before starting our English class, she said, teacher, let me be honest with you. I don't like English. I don't want you to teach me how to speak English. I only want to learn how to pass a test because I want to become an engineer. I am a CPA.
Okay, so we continue now with the session. We are here to ask Mr. Maldonado. We were talking about innovation in the first part of the interview, but now we are going to talk about more precisely on uh, the entrepreneurs, the academies, and the experience that he had growing up as a mentor, as tutoring other people, no? So, Mark, as tutor, as a mentor, how did you feel congratulated to see your students motivated to learn the language and use it when they travel to another country? What reasons did they uh, feel or did they have to learn the language, Mark?
Well, in order to answer that question is, I will show you some of the experiences my students have had. So for example, one of my students who was highly skilled in Ecuador, she said, teacher, I'm not so fluent in English. I can read in English. And she was used to reading academic and highly scientific language in English, but she wasn't able to speak it so fluently. And she said, I have a scholarship to continue with my PhD, So I will be a PhD in Spain, but most of the time I have to show all of my work every time, every week, twice a week in front of the crowd in English. I am able to understand when I read. I can pass any test by reading, but I'm not able to speak it. Can you please prepare me so I can get the scholarship? I said, sure, I want you to get a scholarship for being a PhD. She said, okay, let's practice. We practiced for 2 weeks, and then she had the first interview. And during the first interview, the interviewee said, ma'am, even though you cannot speak well English, you understand when I'm speaking. That's a good point of view. And that's the second thing is you can read well because your teacher has prepared you well. I said, oh my God, finally. And then he said, I'll give you 2 more weeks to prepare yourself to speak in front of the crowd. If they say yes, you get a scholarship. And she said, how can we do it between only 2 weeks? And I said, don't worry, that's just speaking. Don't worry about it. I will help you. So I sent her something so she can practice on her own on the phone. And I sent her an app which is pronunciation app. So you can download the pronunciation app for free on Google. So I sent her the link. She downloaded the pronunciation app, and then I sent her also other apps so she could use the apps on her own, and we also practiced together. So I downloaded a book for free from online, and we started reading about methodologies, how to use scientific language, how to pronounce scientific language, how to pass any interview for getting a PhD. And when the time came to get her interview for the second time, she was interviewed in front of 3 people, 3 scholars. And they asked her questions, and she said, teacher, I passed the test. I got a PhD scholarship. Now I can go abroad. This is the first time I go to Spain. And I said, oh, wow, nice. And so what else will you do? And she said, I will have to conduct a survey and a research project about how to use oranges, how to use the extract from oranges in Spain. And I said, wow, how fantastic. We have many oranges here, and now you're using oranges in Spain. So what kind of liquid do you use from oranges? She said, there is a variant of extracts that you get from the oranges, and these oranges have a liquid that help you improve vitamins. I said, wow, amazing. So she explained me everything about the process, and I had to read all the processes. And then I explained her about the processes. She said, I understand the process. What happens is I don't know how to explain it to other people. And I said, okay, let's practice together. I will write down how to explain it, and then you have to explain it to me before giving every speech. So she had 2 speeches, one on Wednesday and the other on Friday. So I prepared her 1 or 2 days before the speech, and then she gave the speech. She also recorded the speech, and she asked me what errors she committed while reading or while speaking. And then we try to improve her fluency, the words she used, because it had to be highly scientific. She had to pronounce it as accurate as possible, and she had to use only scientific English because she was doing her PhD. So I prepared for speaking in front of the crowd, and the crowd was vastly enormous. It was 2,000 students from masters, professors, and also those university deans. So she always explained everything in English, and she showed the visual aids and everything. And they said, wow, you speak English so well. And how did you learn to speak English like that? And she said, well, I have a teacher. He always prepares me. He is in Ecuador, but we always have a video conference right before the seminar so I can explain everything in English, but he prepares me so well. And she said, how about your husband? My husband is in England, and my husband is really happy with with my teacher because he's teaching me. He cannot teach me because he's always busy, but my teacher is always there to support me in whatever I ask him. So the good experience that people can have is if they speak English, if they learn a language, whatever it is, not only English, but also other languages, that will help you to interact in your own realm and your own kingdom. For example, if you're only an accountant, if you're an engineer, if you're an economist, and you don't need to speak English like us, but you have to use the language of economists, the language of business, which is accounting, or you have to use business English or academic English, legal English, or scientific English. So you can also work in your fields, in your own career. So you can improve your speaking, not only that, but also the interaction with other people, the interaction within your own realm. That's why I always ask my students to provide me with all the resources they have. For example, if they only have it in Spanish, I read it in Spanish and then I find something in English which is similar to it, so they can improve their practice, also their production when it comes to oral production, because oral production is something that they need to work on when it comes to presenting in front of the crowd. The numbers, for example, for managers have to speak to other people from abroad. I have one manager. One of the managers, she used to be in accounting in the company, but now she's a manager in the foreign and trade department. So she is doing exportation and importations. And she said, teacher, I have to speak to people from India, and I have to travel to India 4 times a year, but I need to learn English. I have the money, I get paid well, and I need to learn English only because I need to go to India. And I have to talk to people in India in English. And sometimes we have video conferences, and sometimes when I get back from India, I have to do the follow-up so I can continue selling and exporting products from Ecuador to India. And she said, the only language I can learn is English. Can you teach me? I said, yes, sure. You're going to travel 4 times a year to India. That's amazing. So you see, people even get paid more because they learn English. So I say, okay, let's use this platform. So I have 4 platforms so people can learn English. One of them is for free. The one that is for free, you can find it. You have to type down on Google OM English or OM Personal English, and you will find it on your own, and you can use it for yourself. You can prepare your own B2, C1, C2, your speaking, business English, and other things that they have on their platform. That platform is from Argentina. That was created by a professor from the university in Argentina. So he wanted people to know and to prepare themselves to get a B2 for free. So you don't have to pay nobody. Anyway, you can find some things that are free of cost, but also you have to charge for your own work because you are you are investing in yourself. And when it comes to investing is time, resources, money, time, maybe some valuable time that you might be spending with your family, you're spending with other people, or you're spending on your own. That means you're investing and your improvement. So the thing is, people can get to enjoy travels. They can enjoy trips because they get paid to go abroad, or they get paid to study abroad. Nowadays, there are like foreign students. One of them is going to Australia, the other is going to Canada, the other one is going to India, and the other one is going to England. So they enjoy it because they have learned English with me. And not only with me, but they have also used apps, or they have also used platforms which are free of cost, but also they have paid other teachers to train them in speaking English and reading and writing and so on. Hey, Glenda, how you doing?
I'm
Long
doing
time no
fine. How about
see.
you?
Oh my.
Yeah,
Hi,
Oh
Glenda.
my.
Hope to see you.
I'm
You're
relaxed.
fine. Are you traveling right now, Glenda?
I'm in North Carolina, and
Oh my.
Sure,
yes, I
sure.
retired in the public system, but I'm still working online and working in the public system also as a substitute teacher whenever I come to America. And I love it. I think this is the best stage of my life
Obviously.
because I can spend
We
time.
never stop.
I can spend
You,
time
but you
in
can,
here. I can
the
spend
best
time.
thing is you
Mhm.
can decide on your own, right?
Yes, I that's good because I'm the owner of my own time. I go to
Yeah.
school whenever I feel like it, and I get to choose what school I want
That's
to
the
work.
way.
So right now, I chose those schools where they have those international teachers. They need a lot of guidance and help, and so it's a pleasure for me to go to those classes where I can help them and give them the guidance how the education system is, it's not better or worse, but it's different. We have different things that they focus on. So I
Hmm.
think that it's amazing, and they love it. Yeah, international teacher from any places in the world. Yeah, last week I was with a teacher from India, a teacher from Colombia, and a teacher. Lots of teachers from Ecuador now are coming on that program participate.
Yeah.
Those
That used to
are
be
those
BIF.
exchange
Yes.
programs that are that belong that you can see in the social medias that invite teachers to participate in.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Uh-huh.
not only that, but since now they are starting the dual education in elementary schools, so that helps a lot uh, for the kids to learn and grow up with both languages. Because teaching Spanish as they used to do before, just in high school, only 2 semesters, they can just see the basic and then they forget about it.
Uh-huh.
But now the dual education, I was amazed how much the students learn. In second grade, the native speaker, they can handle a conversation in both languages, English and Spanish, in a very
Comfortable
fluent
way.
way. That's
Mm-hmm.
nice. That is very nice. But they have been learning Spanish since they were in pre-K, K, and first grade. Now, second grade, this is a 4 year learning Spanish. So they are fluent in both languages. They can read and write in both languages. So that's nice. And
Uh-huh.
that, mhm,
The new idea in the US is to prepare them to become completely bilingual so they can speak
bilingual.
both languages,
Bilingualism.
not just one, but both. Whatever their mother
Yes,
tongue is, apart from English. Uh-huh.
yes,
That's what I
because
heard last time.
And
yes,
Spanish
because
is the
English is not.
second the second language that is widely spoken, I
Yeah,
think.
Mhm.
Spanish is the second most spoken language in the world now. For a long time, it's been like that, but now it's increasing. It's so now Europe also are teaching Spanish as a second language in countries where they didn't used to teach as a second language. We see Germany, even Great Britain. They are hiring Spanish teachers to come and teach because in Europe, most of the kids speak 3, 4 languages. Only America was the only one that they were just monolingual, and that's not the future for the new generation. The new generation, they need to understand
More than
language for
two.
themselves.
Hmm.
So where are you teaching now?
Which one? Me.
You're the one,
Yeah.
the
Oh.
interviewer. They interviewed.
Oh, well, I'm teaching online, but I was teaching at Casa Grande University last time, but I retired from it and I'm teaching on my own. I got my own students
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm teaching as the pilots
Uh-huh.
and the flight attendants,
Yeah.
also the the airport managers from
Mm-hmm.
and the airport operators.
Yeah, great. Fantastic.
That's
So where
CETSA.
do you live? Where do you live?
I'm living currently in Machala.
Where?
Machala. Machala is in
Ah,
the south of Ecuador.
yeah, okay, okay.
Uh-huh.
So you're teaching on your own online only. Are
On
you
my
teaching
own.
with
No, I am not no school right now.
oh, okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
I also was teaching in Casa Grande in the university online from here, and it was a nice experience teaching those teachers to prepare them for ESL teacher. Yeah, from time to time. Yeah, yeah. But I now decided just to work with the system here. So when I go to Ecuador, I go to relax.
Just go to the beach.
Yeah, go to the beach. But it was a nice experience teaching from the beach of South Carolina to teachers from Ecuador. That was nice.
Oh, wow. How
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
I always watch your so looking photos when you post on Facebook.
What about World Language Academy?
Well, we're about World Language Academy. We haven't installed, but we are trying to innovate in different ways. For example, English classes,
Mhm.
and we also try to work on the thesis um,
Yeah,
for postgraduate students, students from universities, faculty of languages, the students they need in English.
yeah.
So, or when they need to, for example, in other careers, when they need an abstract in English, we translate, we help, we support them too,
Hmm.
we give the service. And well, we are trying to we're going to do different things, not only focusing on classes. We're trying to
Yeah.
look for different ways.
Yeah, I get some few students right now. I got one who wants to learn Spanish that is from here, and I'll be teaching starting. I start every Monday, the first Monday of each month. I don't take that many classes, like two or three, just to prepare students or prepare anyone who needs to learn. But right now, I have a American from North Carolina who wants to learn now Spanish so they can have the leadership in their church with the newcomers, because there's a lot of newcomers. That is amazing how many people have come to North Carolina from different places, from Central America, from South America. So they feel like they need to learn and communicate.
Mhm.
Well, thanks, Glenda, for sharing uh,
Mhm.
Mhm.
your things that you are experienced in the United
Yeah,
States right now. I will send
Mhm.
my
yeah.
greetings to Mr. Robert. Hello, Mr. Robert, please. Are you there? Oh, I'm sorry. I need to mute it. Um, Mr. Robert. Hello, Mr. Robert. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Hello, teacher Andres. Hello, everybody.
More
Right
than a
now,
pleasure to see you.
I am not at home, but I say my compliments to all the organizers for these webinars. I I learn every day. So thank you, teachers, for sharing your experiences with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You're my pleasure, Mr. Robert. Well, teachers, this is the time, just in case when you need to ask something to our special guest, to teacher Mr. Maldonado. May you can ask an open question about the experience or a specific thing that we had been discussing about it. Okay, you can go. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mark. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm
Good
Eliberto
afternoon.
Martinez, right? I'm an English teacher too. I'm retired as Glenda too. So I was wondering about the development of the four basic skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing, right? And I taught a lot for many years. I mean, I was teaching English as a foreign language in a secondary school and also at the university level. But once I got retired, I started teaching private classes in companies and now individually and in small groups through Zoom. At the beginning, I started with Google Meet, but then I decided to use Zoom as a platform. It's a very good platform. And I also want to teach Spanish. and I have a very good material, and I'm doing many things to try to use new tools, new techniques in the methodology I use normally in my classes. Thank you very much for this webinar. It's excellent. Good material, good information. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for sharing and exchanging your experience with us. Okay. Mr.
May I answer?
Yes, of course.
So, and anyway, when it comes to the test taking strategies, which I primarily focus on, is speaking, reading, writing, listening, and the use of English. So you have to work on your students by a way that they can feel more comfortable with the language. When they are more comfortable with the language, they feel like they are progressing. They only want to see that they are progressing. If they are not progressing, they think it's a waste of time or waste of money. So even if they pay you just a little bit or too much, they think it's not worthy. So you have to find ways that they feel that this is worthy by improving their skills. You have to focus on two things. Their weakest point when it comes to most of people in Latin America, they lack one skill, reading. Reading comprehension. They're not used to reading. The second one is listening. If you improve these two skills, they will feel like they are learning English because they are not used to reading. You have to incorporate or you have to instill a love for reading. First and foremost, a love for reading. The second one is a love for listening because they're not used to listening to English. They only listen to English when they are in the classroom, when you're teaching them. After that, they forget about it. So the thing is, you have to work on this continually. If you work on continually so that they can keep on listening to English for at least 10 hours a day, they can improve their English. If not, you have to find ways to listen to bytes of audio files. So let's say those bytes are just 2 minutes long, only 2 minutes long. So they listen to the audio byte for 2 minutes, but you have to find ways on how to improve their reading comprehension. For example, if you work on their reading comprehension, you can also download the KWL or the SQ3R charts from online. You have to go to Excelsior College, Reading Comprehension, and then you can find it for free. Download it for yourself and use it. Before using it, you have to read it well. So you know how to use it. You know how to improve your own reading and your own listening. After that, you can use it with your students and they can improve their reading as well as their listening comprehension. You know, if you teach reading comprehension and listening comprehension together, your students will feel like learning because that skill is just one skill. When it comes to reading and listening, it's the same. If you become more fluent in listening, you also are good at reading because it's the same. It depends on the language you use and depends on the kind of vocabulary that you use. Also, when you understand one word, it's because you have read it before. And also you know what it means and you know how to use it. If you know how to use it and you know what it means and you got a handle, you get it, you understand it, then your students will understand it because you know how to use it. You know how to use the word as the hit, what it means to hit, or what it means to hide. So you know the difference between hit and hide. Then if you understand it well, you can explain it well. If you can explain it well, your students will understand it. If they know how to use the vocabulary well, then my goodness, you have improved yourself and you have improved the life of your student. Therefore, your student will say, thank you. I feel like I'm learning. If they feel like they're learning, That is the only thing you need. If they feel like they're learning, they're progressing. They feel like they have some advancement. They have some amelioration when it comes to skill usage. So if they improve their reading comprehension as well as their listening comprehension, they will feel like this is the whole world to me. I feel so happy. I feel elated because my teacher has taught me something useful. If they see this is useful, that's it. You have got it. You have achieved your goal. Your main goal is to get your students to the point where they say, my teacher is teaching me well because I feel like I'm learning. And I can see that when I was a child, when I heard that song, I didn't get it. I didn't understand it, but now I understand it. Now that I'm reading, wow, everything is so clear. I know how to find the main idea. I know how to find the secondary details. Oh, I know what it says here. And I know this word. I didn't used to know this word. Now I know how to use it and I can write it on my own without asking my student or my teacher, sorry, without asking my tutor or my teacher or without asking my mates. So without even looking up in the dictionary. That is when they're learning. If they're learning, you have completed your goal.
Absolutely, Mark. Thank you so much for sharing your arguments about this question. Okay, dear teachers. Okay, any comment, any comment that you have about it? Mr. Martinez. Hello, Mr. Martinez. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good to see you. Where are you from, Mr. Martinez?
I'm from Venezuela.
Okay, good to know more about it. So, are you an English teacher too? Where do you work?
Yes, I am. Well, I'm not. I work as a freelance teacher now because I am retired. I got retired when I was. It was in 2007 exactly.
Okay, great. Good to know more about it. Would you like to share something with us in this interview?
Well, in this opportunity, we consider two skills, which are considered receptive skills. But in certain way, they are not so receptive. They are also uh, not only receptive skills, but also productive skills. But they are considered receptive skills, right? But
Mhm.
and listening are very important, as Mark said. Yes, it's necessary to develop those skills for students because they are going to help them a lot in the speaking and writing process too.
Okay, thank you so much for stating your argument about it. So, I was reading your comments and I found it very interesting when you mentioned about phonics, names. So, I can relate it to linguistics, no?
Okay, just let me see what he said.
Yeah. So, what he was in one of the last comments that he made it before we finish. Okay. Glenda, would you like to make any final comment to this teacher's interview?
Yeah, that's very positive to keep exchanging idea from everyone, how they are teaching. I absolutely enjoy teaching online and do the classes sometimes asynchronous. Asynchronic allowed the student and the teacher manage the time in a way more effectively. So using technology that we can record classes, we can record tests, and we can provide all the tools that they need so they can practice on their own. And that way we can continue teaching in a personal way for different needs. And that's amazing. That's amazing what technology, how can help us manage our time most effectively, not having to be there in the place where our students are, but we can continue teaching them from distance. So I'm so glad I enjoy Ecuador a lot. I'm enjoying US. Both places for me are beautiful and I love them. I love I'm looking forward to go back to Ecuador pretty soon to enjoy the food, the beaches, the weather, and all that, and continue teaching the students from here. And when I'm here, continue teaching from there. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, teaching is a lovely career, so rewarding. And this is my sense of retirement. I mean, enjoy it at your own pace and continue doing what we love and we have passion for.
As Mr. Robert said, we teachers never retire. We keep working. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yes, yes, yes. I love it. I
And
love it. I absolutely have loved it.
that's because we feel
And
passionate.
now,
We love it.
yeah, so many opportunities, job openings. I saw the last time I was in an island. I saw the teacher teaching from an island called Bonaire, getting their feet in the water and teaching from there, from the hammock. With that is amazing. Or from the cruise line, or from the whatever. I mean, this is amazing. This is beautiful. You just
I
to
usually teach from my phone because this is so easy. You can go anywhere else and you can teach on your phone, even when I'm traveling.
yes, even when you're driving. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But I prefer to be in a place without driving. Right here. I don't want to be in a break or just get distracted. But I prefer, yeah, to be in a place. But yes, it's possible. It's possible. But it's also when you plan the class ahead and do it asynchronous, you can ask the student to keep opening the links and they can see what we have placed for them, and it's amazing. So you can even the last time I was teaching a student, somebody from Ecuador, and I had to pick up my daughter at the airport because she was coming. So I did and prepared my class asynchronous, gave them all the materials, the assignments, the recording, and actually I met with a student just for 10 minutes, and and she was fascinated with the whole hour class. And my time was only for 10 minutes, but they prepare the class took me almost an hour. Yes. Yeah. But the thing is, I stay there. I keep everything in Google Doc or Google Drive. I keep everything, and then I choose what the student needs, and that's what I prepare the class, and I keep all these documents, and then choose. And that's amazing. I mean, sometimes just connect only for 5 minutes, and the student really loves the class because everything is recorded, pronunciation, exercises, put them to work and put them to listen to words. I record the questions, a paragraph, and then ask a question. And then I just type the questions for the students to listen and answer the questions on the Google Doc. So maybe the class was only 5 minutes with me, but actually to check on what they did, it takes more, like probably 40 minutes or 45 minutes to correct their mistakes, to check them and check their progress. So they like it. And I do too. I do too, because we can do a lot more with our time instead of being there with the student the whole time.
And on top of that, it's more productive because they're doing something that they see in real life. So they can use
That's right.
technology and they can also interact with us, or they can interact with other people, and we can be
Yes.
doing something else. And we can
Yes.
be doing two things at the same time. So kill two birds with one stone.
Yes, absolutely. And then I connect with my phone at the airport, looking at different things and checking vocabulary at the airport and all that. That student like it that way, or in the drive-in or wherever you are, whatever you're doing at that moment. So that's nice.
So you break a paradigm, because sometimes people, I mean, some students or some teachers think that by using technology, they will get distracted or they will not attain to their level. No, that's not it.
No,
You can
that's
use
not it.
technology, you can use a phone, you can use a laptop, you can use whatever you want, so long as they're
They learn
learning.
faster. They learn faster with technology if they use the
Yes.
time wisely. Yeah.
I think it's more beneficial sometimes in some ways, but not in everything, but in some ways it's more beneficial because you can do many activities at the same time and you can also be teaching and be getting paid. That's something that we need.
Yeah. In elementary school, I saw the benefit of using technology only at the end of the day, just like the last hour. And the rest of the time, they do activities like kinesthetic activity used in their target language. I see that beneficial. But it's good that they leave technology for the last time when they already tired and they have done a lot. The handwriting is also important for elementary students, like second grade, third grade, fourth grade.
Handwriting is beneficial for everyone, even for your own brain after 40. Now
Yeah,
I'm already 40, so I know the benefit of
high,
writing. I
high
do
school
my writing. That's my homework.
Yeah, that's
high
much
school
better
student they
than
don't work
handwriting.
anymore.
Okay, Mr.
Okay, let
Martinez
me get.
is requiring. He wants to ask something. Yes, go ahead, Mr. Martinez.
Oh, yes, I was wondering if there is a possibility of having a webinar using some platforms and tools like artificial intelligence, etc. Is there
I can
any
do
webinar program in the future, in the near future, or not?
I can do it if you want to. I got lots of resources for that. And I will also show you how to do research, academic research using technology without committing fraud, or how do you call it? Plagiarism.
Yeah,
Great.
that part is
Mhm.
very important because there
But
are many
but
things
it's
that
up to
behind the
Andres.
practice.
Exactly.
Yeah, there are many things behind the practice now that said that artificial intelligence is only copy paste, but I don't think it is all the time. I think that it could be you need to master some
No,
skills
no, it's
in
not
order to
just
develop
it's
that.
not just copy pasting. You can use it by, if you use artificial intelligence, it's to improve the timing. The time sometimes it's wasteful. If you use lots of time
To reduce
instead
the
of
time
using,
consuming, yes,
that's it. You don't need to just
copy
commit
paste.
plagiarism, copy pasting. You have to learn from technology to be rapid and quick, not to be copying like everybody. You can learn how to use technology, how to use different tools, a set of tools that will help me achieve it faster than ever, and then use my own words, my own style, my own tone.
Absolutely. Thanks, my friend. And thank you so much, Mr.
Mhm.
Martinez, for your suggestion. Artificial intelligence is one of the topics that